All right, hello everybody. I am Krex. I am your host at Fate Seal MTG. Today I'm going to showcase another playthrough of Lantern Control. This is my 3.1.4 list. This list is slightly different than my 3.1.3, which is the quote-unquote staple version. I am trying some memes here. The first meme is Underground Mortuary. I cannot officially recommend Underground Mortuary, especially over Fomori Vault. The community is pretty decidedly on Fomori Vault. They like Fomori Vault. I don't really like Fomori Vault. I don't think that it is fast enough, which is saying something. If it was 3 mana and not discarding a card, or if it was 2 mana and discarding a card, I might see it, but I think it's just a little bit too slow. So I am trying out Underground Mortuary instead as a fetchable source of, I don't know, selection, I guess. That does make the deck a bit worse. Maybe. We'll find out. We'll find out. The second big change that I'm trying here, I'm only playing 2 Codex Shredder. I'm only playing 2 ways to win the game. If both of my Codex Shredders get discarded or countered, or maybe even hidden under a Pixis that I can never pop, I can't actually win the game if my opponent has more cards in library than me. And that's a bit scary. It feels a bit like living on the edge. But so far, 4 Pixis of Pandemonium has been where it's at. It's been fantastic. I will continue to play with this and see where it goes. As far as notes from last time, I'm starting to question this Emrakul the Aeon's Torn in this sideboard. I've played 15 leagues and 1 challenge, and I have not seen mill. That is like 80 plus matches, none of them being mill. Yeah, we'll have to see if this Emrakul could possibly be turned into something else. I'm not exactly sure what yet. I'm not sure what that looks like, but we will find out. All right, I'll go ahead and start up round 1. I'll see y'all in just a little bit. We have started round 1 versus Carp Carp. Hello, Carp Carp. I'll play against you. I will not chat with you because I don't like chatting with people. I will just wait to see if they're going to be on the play or not. They will be on the play. This hand has turn 1 free Bauble Scry by choosing whether I fetch or not. It has a Thoughtseize, and it has a Shredder and a Pixis, which is really good. It also has a Grafdigger's Cage, which is relatively relevant against most of the meta. This is a keep, definitely a keep. I can find a Lantern or a Bridge off of this, potentially. Tapped Watery Grave. Ooh, 3rd land, that's pretty decent. So Mishra's Bauble will be my first spell that I cast. I'm going to take a look at the top card of my deck. I'll find an Ensnaring Bridge. That's a good pickup. I'm going to Thoughtseize my opponent here. If they have a turn 2 Psychic Frog and nothing else really going on, wow. Just straight up no interaction. Just, they're going to jam Psychic Frogs down my throat. I'll take it. Creature or Planeswalker spell. I couldn't care less about that. I will go ahead and take 1 Psychic Frog. Well, if your plan is to jam Psychic Frogs down my throat, then my plan is to jam an Ensnaring Bridge down yours. And we'll see whose plan is better. Darkslick Shores, Psychic Frog. And I'm continuing to draw lands here. Let's go ahead and play a Grafdigger's Cage, and I will fetch a basic Swamp here and play a Pixis. I'm going to be quite sad if my opponent draws a Force of Negation over the next few turns. All right, they're going to get a free hit with this Psychic Frog. It would be lovely if they pumped it up. They are pumping it up. Fatal Push is out of their hand. Subtlety is out of their hand. All right, they're going to go ahead and get another unknown card here. Island is down, and that screams Sink into Stupor here. I would really love another discard spell. So let's go ahead and cast this Mishra's Bauble first. I am going to bauble myself. I will take another Ensnaring Bridge as a replacement for a discard spell. Let's go ahead and cast my Codex Shredder. So in this situation, a Surveil land is actually really, really, really good. I will go ahead and draw this Ensnaring Bridge, especially since their Psychic Frog is a 3/4. I don't really need to worry about them sneaking under my bridge. And here the Surveil is actually going to be really, really nice. They are discarding another Psychic Frog, just going all in on this guy. All right. So they are going up to a full 4 cards, and I am pretty desperately looking for a discard spell at this point. My opponent cannot... Oh, they could kill me, actually. They could go all in on their Psychic Frog. But instead, they're going all in on a Murktide Regent. 3 unknown cards in hand. I have to imagine one of those is a Force of Negation here. Let us look for a discard spell. Underground Mortuary. That is not a discard spell. Gonna put that on top. And exile it with Pixis to conceal information. So I am facing lethal on board here. Face down exile. No upkeep effects, really. I would just love to top deck a one of my 1 mana discard spells. So 6 outer. That's not it. I will go ahead and play my Polluted Delta, slam an Ensnaring Bridge, and see if this resolves. I highly doubt it will. My opponent has had a decent chunk of time to just draw cards. Yep, that's game. All right, that's game. So, not terribly unexpected. Let us see what they exiled. A Sink into Stupor. Yeah, they had that game under control. Okay, well, in this matchup, Bloodchief's Thirst and Duress are all reasonably good. Bloodchief's Thirst is less good if they're on an Oculus build, which I'm actually not certain if they are or not. This Witherbloom command is bad. Grafdigger's Cage is bad. Pretty much all my Pithing Needles are bad. Cling to Dust is kind of on the chopping block. I could bring in an Assassin's Trophy and cut these 3 cards. I'm not entirely certain how I feel about this. Do I want these Collective Brutalities, or do I want to turn these into Bloodchief's Thirst? That would bring me up to 10 discard spells. I think I'm going to experiment with this. I would like to play first, thanks for asking. Is Ensnaring Bridge Urza Saga a good enough plan on its own? I don't think it is. I think I really want a discard spell. This is a much better hand. I'm going to keep this. I would be fetching the basic swamp with this Verdant Catacombs anyway, and I do kind of want to protect my life total here, so I will go ahead and bottom the Catacombs. Now the question is, do I play Thoughtseize on turn 1? And I think the answer to that is yes. I think I am going to Thoughtseize on turn 1 here. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. See what our opponent is working with. That is a pretty good hand. They have to set up this hand using their Preordains, so it's going to be a bit slow, but that Murktide Regent's going to hit like a truck. I could take the Force of Negation, which would mean that my Ensnaring Bridges have a better chance of resolving. I could take the Murktide Regent and do Saga Gaming. Now this is the real question. Do I want to do Saga Gaming this game, or do I want to do Ensnaring Bridge Gaming? I have 2 Ensnaring Bridges, and that Murktide Regent is going to hit like a truck. I don't think taking Preordain is correct. They have a second Preordain. Like, if they only had 1 Preordain, I would probably just snap take Preordain. We saw a Sink into Stupor last game. I can still do Saga Gaming with Murktide Regent in play. I'll go ahead and take the Force. But that was a really interesting point of a decision point right there. Murktide is dead cardboard against Bridge. This is entirely true. And I have 2 bridges in hand. If I can resolve even one of these bridges, it will really help me out. Alright, so Watery Grave is down. Preordain is down. My opponent is going to have 6 cards in hand. And that Force of Negation is gone. Alright, Saga Gaming, let's go. Did they top? No, they top-bottomed. Top-bottom with Preordain means I don't have to use this. This is the world's most telegraphed Orcish Bowmasters. I think I will, now that I drew this Pixis, definitely, I think I'm going to slam a bridge. You did not find a counterspell, and that was definitely a counterspell test right there. Orcish Bowmasters, who would have possibly guessed? Interesting, just straight to combat. You got it. Third land? Third land. Second Preordain is coming down. If they top, then I get to take the other one with this Pixis. They did not top, they top-bottomed. I'll go ahead and activate Pixis here anyway. So they have 5 cards in hand. 2 of them are known. They're a Cling to Dust and a Murktide Regent, but 3 of them are not known. That is an Ancient Stirrings. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tempted to just tap this for mana, grab a Lantern, attempt to play a Bridge, maybe? I might just try to slam an Ensnaring Bridge here. I don't think I need to make a dude. Oh, I have a Duress on top of my deck. Oh, that's fantastic news. I'm going to be taking damage from these orcs for a little bit, and I definitely want to play this bridge while I have the mana for it. Even if it gets countered, it's probably fine. But that Duress is going to be huge. Now my opponent needs to draw double Sink into Stupor to be in the game. Triple if this Duress stays on top of my deck, which it very well might be. It might stay on top of my deck. They do not want the counterspell, but they got another counterspell on top of their deck. All right, let's see what they get. Surveil 1, you got it. That Force of Negation you can have anyway, so let's see if they mill it. They did not mill it, so that Force of Negation is in hand. All right, and I believe I will allow them to draw the Psychic Frog. It's basically just a slow cantrip at this point. I'm steadily taking damage. I could use Pixis to exile this Duress and the Force Indication on top of my opponent's deck. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to try to resolve this Pixis here. I'll take the hit. Wow, they just let it go, huh? Why did they let that go? They have a Sink into Stupor in hand. I'm taking that, right? Yeah, I'm taking that. Why would you... Whatever. All right. F6. This game's pretty much locked up. I need to worry about the Cling to Dust. Now I don't need to worry about Cling to Dust. What was that, a Force of Negation again? I think that was another Force of Negation. That's an island. Cling to Dust is out of hand. I will take the 3 here. I don't really want them drawing this Consider. I don't care about that. I do think that I need to empty my hand. So I'm going to allow them to draw this Consigned Memory. Because what they can do is they can swing in with the Psychic Frog and then dump their hand to it. That would actually be lethal this upcoming turn. So I need a land. That's a land. Okay, we're fine. I do not care if this Ancient Stirrings resolves or not. Let's go ahead and take a Codex Shredder, I suppose. Play it. Don't care if it gets countered or not. I don't want to Stirrings for a land because my opponent has 2 Force of Negations in their hand. And if they force my Stirrings and I'm left with a black card in hand, then they can just dump a bunch of stuff onto the Psychic Frog. Although it wouldn't be lethal, it would be a little less comfortable than I would like. I have 2 Mill Rocks, I may as well use 2 Mill Rocks. Okay, how do I feel about this plan still, knowing that they have Sink into Stupors, at least 1, probably 2. They have Orcish Bowmasters, Psychic Frogs. I still haven't seen an Unearth or an Oculus from them, so they might not be on that plan. I think I will keep this. This is a good hand. We keep these. We keep these hands. This is an excellent hand. This is a really good hand. This is a really good hand. It's got 2 discard spells in it. It's got half of a lock. It's got a Stirrings that could possibly find a bridge. And it has Urza's Saga. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous, right? Now, how do I play this hand? I'm fetching basic Swamp here. So I will go ahead and play this Polluted Delta. I could... No, I'm not going to be using this Ancient Stirrings right away. The question is if I am fetching a basic Swamp or if I'm fetching an Overgrown Tomb. If I fetch an Overgrown Tomb, I fall to 15, which is a pretty low life total. After casting this Thoughtseize, I mean. But it would allow me the luxury of casting this Ancient Stirrings later. No, I can Ancient Stirrings on another turn using this Verdant Catacombs. I think I will... They could have Harbinger of the Seas. Yeah, I'll go ahead and grab the basic Swamp. And Inquisition first. Force of Negation, you got it. That is... Exiling an Archmage's turn? Really? Yeah, you got it. Absolutely. Fantastic. Great news. They mill to Consider. They have 4 cards in their hand, 3 cards in their hand. Played a Psychic Frog. They're really just hoping that this Psychic Frog carries them all the way. That's a Lantern. I will go ahead and Thoughtseize my opponent here. I really wish that I had an Ensnaring Bridge in my hand. If I had an Ensnaring Bridge in my hand, then this would be a very easy choice. It'd be Force of Negation. But next turn, they can just slam a Murktide Regent regardless, because I'm taking a card out of their hand. If I don't take the Murktide Regent, that's coming down as a 5/5. They can only jump Frog one time. My constructs are going to be decently large. I think I am going to take the Murktide Regent, and Force is only live if they draw a blue card. Yeah, I'm going to take the Murktide Regent here. We'll go ahead and do Saga Gaming. Lots of little intricate decisions to be made. All right. Lantern. Oh, that's really funny, actually. So that means they can play Murktide as a 5/5 still. Force of Negation is not live anymore. I can draw this Thoughtseize. I can fall to 13, because I would be taking a hit off of Psychic Frog, I'd be fetching, and then 13. And that would give me Thoughtseize, Pixis, Stirrings to find an Ensnaring Bridge. And I would have control over their draw step. I think this is okay. Because I would be taking, falling to 8, falling to 7. I would have 1 attack step. I guess I didn't account for the Psychic Frog drawing them a card. So that's going to suck. So they can either keep Murktide Regent in hand so that Force is live, which is just objectively a bad play, I think. Yeah. Island. They need to slam Murktide Regent right now. That's good. Murktide Regent is in play. This Force of Negation will be live on the turn that I need to be casting Ensnaring Bridge, because I can just hold up mana. So this Thoughtseize does need to take Force of Negation now. Yeah, you got it. I'm not going to be making a dude. Am I going to make a dude? I'm fetching basic forest with this regardless. That's an Assassin's Trophy. Now things are getting interesting. I could make a dude, but that would only chump the Psychic Frog. It wouldn't actually kill it. This is very interesting. So I have a very clear line here. It's Thoughtseize, the Force of Negation, fall to 13. That would turn Psychic Frog into a 3/4. I would take 8. I could draw the... No. Wow, they just F6'd. Okay. They should not have F6'd there. I will go ahead and fire off this Ancient Stirrings. There's the Ensnaring Bridge. All right. We are cooking now. Okay. My opponent has exactly Polluted Delta. They can't have that. They can't have the Force of Negation here. They might be trying to figure out if they can jump Frog and make Murktide bigger. I don't think they can, because they've only got a Polluted Delta in hand. They could even discard the Polluted Delta to the Psychic Frog, but that only gives them 2 cards. Yeah, you got it. I don't really want this Profane Tutor on top of my deck anyway. I kind of want to draw a 1-drop. Yeah, that's fine. They just let it go. Force of Negation, get off the top of the deck. Just be like an Orcish Bowmasters or something. Swamp. All right, this game's locked up. Kind of. All right, so Polluted Delta and Swamp. They played the Polluted Delta, and I think my opponent's actually being really smart here, because they are not discarding cards to this Psychic Frog so that it continue to attack under an Ensnaring Bridge. Let's go ahead and tap this for mana. I will grab... Do I grab a Pithing Needle for Psychic Frog? That's silly, right? We are at parity on cards. We're at parity on cards in library. I will grab a Codex Shredder here. Go ahead and play a Mycosynth Gardens. And F6. This game's not entirely locked up because the Psychic Frog is still swinging in. And I don't really have as many Mill Rocks as I would like. But, you know, it's pretty close. All of my opponent's counter magic is now dead. They kept Spell Snaring against me. Yeah, you don't want Spell Snare. Orcish Bowmasters is... I fall to 5 from the Psychic Frog. I take 1. I fall to 4 because I can empty my hand next turn. Orcish Bowmasters is fine, and this game is done. You got it. Yep, there's the Harbinger of the Seas that I knew was coming. I don't feel comfortable I don't feel comfortable milling that Harbinger of the Seas right now. I want to get one more mill rock underneath me first. And I know that I'm going to lose my other mill rock to this Harbinger because this Mycosynth Gardens is going to turn into an island. I think that's fine, though. And this is a very simple board state. This is just the board state that Lantern basically always wants to have. Lantern of Insight, backed by Pixis and Shredder, protecting an Ensnaring Bridge. That's really it. Alright, you have an Harbinger of the Seas. This is fine. Your Psychic Frog cannot attack, which means that you're only drawing 1 card a turn. Orcish Bowmasters is out of hand. I'm going to fall to 5, and I'm probably not going to get much lower. You have a Harbinger of the Seas, that's fine. Choosing not to cast it? Oh no, they're definitely casting it. Going to find themselves a basic swamp here. Not a basic swamp, but they are casting it. Let's go ahead and have this become a copy of Pixis. And F6. Okay, and we're all set up. Bloodchief's Thirst is castable, and my opponent is dead. But still, I think I am going to go ahead and start. Yep, definitely don't want them having that. Save targets with this Codex Shredder, that's fine. Wow, I really am glad that I played around Harbinger of the Seas earlier. That's fantastic. And now I don't even care what's in their hand. I'm just gonna go ahead and slowly mill them out here. I don't want that Thoughtseize. Like, I would be fine drawing it. Definitely don't want that Consider on top of their deck. Orcish Bowmasters is fine. Play all of your spells as quickly as possible. I don't need to discard anything out of my opponent's hand, so going through the clicking of choosing a card and having them discard it, that's just not really necessary right now. So I'm just going to choose to discard myself in that particular case, because it is faster. Yeah, I don't really care about that Bloodchief's Thirst. Consign to Memory is fine. Assassin's Trophy is also fine. That is castable. Go ahead and Assassin's Trophy the least relevant thing. It doesn't even matter. I guess I could have Assassin's Trophy the Harbinger. I don't really know how relevant that is. Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog is yet another 2-drop that can't attack through an Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, I don't want you to have that Consider. I don't care about Counterspell, but I'm going to mill it anyway. This Ensnaring Bridge is castable, so I will cast it. Don't care. I just wanted it out of my hand. And I am more than ready to F0 on my opponent's next turn here. Right now, we are locked underneath of a Harbinger of the Seas, and could not possibly care less about it. Oh, there's another Harbinger of the Seas. It's just a matter of winning the match now. F0 here, my opponent doesn't have anything relevant that they can do. I'll fall to 3, sure. What harm could it possibly do? I don't really understand why people keep playing in this position either, but it's not really my job to understand or figure out what's going on in my opponent's head. It's my job to win the game. I'm perfectly happy just sitting here, chilling out, listening to music, seeing if Murktide Regent is a relevant card or not, which it's not, and just making sure that my opponent dies before I do. Ah, sad, they're not going to die this next turn. They're going to get one more draw. Oh well. Hey! I win the match, look at that. I don't know what was special about turn 14 as opposed to turn like 8, which is when the game was really wrapped up. Not my job to figure it out. It's just my job to win the match. Okay, on to round 2. All right, we are on the play in round 2 versus Keggers. Hello, Keggers. This hand it's a bit slow, isn't it? It's a bit slow. It's a bit wonky. It doesn't even have an Urza Saga in it. This hand is turn 1 Pixis, turn 2 Tutor, turn 3 Bridge. Doesn't have a discard spell in it. This hand is Bridge or Bust. I'm gonna mulligan it. I like this hand a lot more. It gives me a lot more agency. I will keep this. I will rely on drawing a 3rd land at some point. And I will Blooming Marsh into Inquisition here because I have 2 discard spells. Would you look at that? Okay, so let's see what my opponent is doing. I think I just take the Flare of Denial here, right? Yeah, let's make this easy. Yeah, the previous hand would have just absolutely been destroyed by this, I think. Balaji Archaeologist. This is... Reanimator? I don't know. We'll find out. Alright, they have 1 unknown card in hand. It was not that Flooded Strand, unfortunately. I believe I will lead on a Lantern. Tainted Indulgence. I'm going to slow roll my Thoughtseize here. Let's go ahead and play Pixis. And I will snap off this Pixis in a heartbeat if it's still on top, if this Tainted Indulgence is on top of their deck at their upkeep. Are they going to surveil the Archaeologist? No, they're going to keep it on top. I don't really want them having another consistency tool. It's another consistency tool. Dang it. Alright, Watery Grave is down. Balaji Archaeologist is down. When it enters, mill 3. Put a non-creature, non-land among them into their hand. They didn't mill a non-creature, non-land. Unearth, Fatal Push, Tainted Indulgence. Now I pretty badly want a Ensnaring Bridge, actually. Oh, that's an Urza Saga. That's almost an Ensnaring Bridge, right? Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize my opponent. Double Unearth. Alright, so the Oculus is coming back next turn. Oh, and now I need to also skillfully name something with this Pithing Needle, because I don't think I can afford to hold it in hand in case I top deck an Ensnaring Bridge. I have a Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Do I just name the thing that I've seen, or do I name something that I haven't seen? I think I'm just going to name the thing I've seen. I'm going to name the backside of Tamiyo here. They can double Unearth. That's really unfortunate. That's an island, so they can play that. Abhorrent Oculus is just entering play. They did not bother to unearth Tamiyo here. Cling to Dust, huh? Cling to Dust is a free cantrip? I'll draw it. Praying for that Ensnaring Bridge, which is just not going to happen. Let's go ahead and cling their Tainted Indulgence here. And I will Brutality. I'm going to kill the Manifested Creature, I think. Do I kill the Manifested Creature, or do I take the Unearth out of their hand? I'm going to be taking 8, and then 10 if I don't kill the Manifested Creature. If I do kill the Manifested Creature, then I'm going to be taking 6, and then 8, which actually gives me an additional turn. I see your point about taking Unearth because I don't want them getting additional draws from Tamiyo. I don't think that I'm ahead enough to where I have the luxury of worrying about that. And I really want an additional draw here. I'm going to kill this. The tip that I have for piloting this very quickly on MTGO is set your stops correctly and make liberal use of your F6 and your F0 keys. Like right now, I'm F6ing through the rest of my turn. When games go to 15 turns, having to worry about passing priority on each of your stops is just a huge bother. It's terrible. And like right here, I would have to pass priority on my main phase again, and then I have to pass priority on the second main, and then pass priority on the end. And that's just seconds that add up. And I don't want to worry about that. Now, if this Manifested Creature is an actual creature on the flip side, my opponent unearths it, well, it was a Balaji Archaeologist. All right, fine. Unearth, Fatal Push, Bloodstained Mire. All right. Bloodstained Mire is gone. Does this thing have flying? Of course it has flying. Why wouldn't it have flying? I don't want this Mycosynth Gardens. That being said, if I draw this Mycosynth Gardens, then that means that Stirrings into Bridge is live. Alternatively, it could become another Millrock and copy Pixis. Yeah, I think I'm going to draw it. And that would give me another look at Bridge here. Wish I knew what this was. My opponent is going to play a Psychic Frog. That's pretty much irrelevant at this point. 5, 6, 7, 8. If I had not killed that Manifest Creature, I would be dead. Psychic Frog. Okay, let's go ahead and Pixis here. Now, here's an interesting question. Do I turn Mycosynth Gardens into a Pixis so that I get an additional look at an Ensnaring Bridge directly? Or do I hope that I am able to dig myself into an Ancient Stirrings and leave that as an additional out? I would not be at 1 because that Manifested Creature would have hit twice. I wish I knew the math on this. It's a 4-outer versus a 7-outer, but the 7-outer is not even guaranteed. I think I'm just going to go ahead and make a copy of it, which means that I need Bridge exactly now. And I might get punished for this. Brutality is not good enough. The Hope for Stirrings line would not have worked anyway. They cannot cycle Unearth and force my thing because their last card in hand is a Fatal Push. This needs to be a Bridge. It is a Bridge. Wow, look at that. We take those. That is what we call we take those. Always had it. Wasn't sweating at all. Psychic Frog. Now my opponent is going to reanimate something terrible. Yep, that's a Tamiyo. And now I will have to contend with Tamiyos for the rest of the game. Alright, Unearth is down. Fortunately, I have the backside of Tamiyo needled. If I can find an additional Mill Rock, then I should be okay. I haven't played a land this turn. I'm going to grab the Pithing Needle. Mycosynth Garden's on top of my deck, and I'm going to play the Pithing Needle. Kyle mentioned Emperor of Bones as a possible name. I don't know how I feel about that. How many Unearths have I seen? 2 of them? Unearth has Cycling. I think I'm going to remove that as an out, and just hope that they're a little lower to the ground than something that would be reanimating a big creature. I am running pretty low on clock here. Yeah, you got it. Harbinger of the Seas is fine. Alright, and I do need to win eventually. They can't crack the clue right quite yet, so I'm going to play out this Lantern. I'm going to take that Tainted Indulgence from the top of their deck. I'm going to F6. That Harbinger of the Seas is gone, replaced with the Bone Shards. I'm going to F0 here. I don't really care about that Harbinger of the Seas on top of their deck. That Saga is not really good. My opponent is milling themselves out fairly quickly with this Abhorrent Oculus. That's kind of nice for me. Play that land, F6. Polluted Delta, that's fine. This seems to be some sort of dedicated Oculus build, which seems pretty interesting. Gonna F0 here. I don't have any creatures. Why are you asking me if I want to block? I kind of don't want to continue using my Pixie, actually, because my opponent is milling 2 every turn. Unearth is dead, right? It can hit a Pelagi Archaeologist. Oh, it can hit a Pelagi Archaeologist, which can... Oh, wait. No, they can't cast... They can't cast Unearth. Never mind. They can't cast Unearth. That's hilarious. No, I don't think I will let you do that. You can have a Flooded Strand. I don't know which of these cards they don't have in hand anymore, and quite frankly, I don't really think it matters. Alright, Force of Negation is fine. I cannot name Clue, because Clue is not the name of a card. So Pithing Needle on Clue is not a valid option. I don't really care about you drawing Tamiyo here. Don't really care about Flare Denial either. They just have a bunch of irrelevant nonsense in hand anyway. I haven't been keeping track of their hand for a while. Okay, so I can bring them down to 2 cards in deck. It's not time to do that yet, because I would need this Shredder to resolve as well. And it's probably not going to resolve because of the glut of counter magic that they have in their hand right now. Yeah, I don't care about that. That's true. I do have a second Ensnaring Bridge into play, but it does not turn off Sink into Stupor as an out, because they can swing in with this Psychic Frog and then dump their hand and kill me. However, now they are definitely dead, because this Oculus is going to trigger, and they're going to mill 2 cards. That's fine. That's fine. You can cycle into that if you'd like. And they have no library. Yep, have fun. GG. F6. There we go. Okay. On the board versus this more control-y, more dedicated Oculus deck. That's quite nice. This is an Oculus deck. They have main deck Harbinger of the Seas, Pelagi Archaeologist. I don't believe that Bloodchief's Thirst or Flaying Tendrils are very good in this spot. What I do want to do is make sure that my Ensnaring Bridge resolves. I'm actually going to side out Assassin's Trophy and Witherbloom Command. I did not see a Murktide Regent in any of that. Cling to Dust, I think, might actually be relevant. Extirpate? I don't know about Extirpate. Grafdigger's Cage stops Manifest Dread, and it stops their Unearthed Shenanigans, so I think I'm going to keep that in. Pithing Needle is relevant-ish, not super relevant. Witherbloom Command can kill a flipped Tamiyo, but so can a Pithing Needle, more or less. I don't know. I don't really think that I'm really worried about this. I think that my discard is going to be pretty relevant here. Brutality can kill a Harbinger of the Seas at the very least. I don't know. It can also strip a counterspell out of my opponent's hand. Wow, this hand is garbage. This hand is less garbage. So the choice here is between Pithing Needle and Mishra's Bauble. I don't really need a Pithing Needle quite yet. I think I'm going to get rid of it. I want it in my deck. But what I want more than a Pithing Needle is an Ensnaring Bridge. And these baubles are how I find it. That is an Urza Saga. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Fetching basics. I have 3 green spells in my entire deck. Fetching basics. I can Thoughtseize my opponent, see if they're on a turn 1 Psychic Frog, I guess. They milled a Polluted Delta. Flare, Force, Psychic Frog. Am I ready to handle a Psychic Frog right now? I don't think so. Psychic Frog can draw them into a lot more counter magic than this, and I can always just Saga Gaming. I think I'm going to Saga Gaming, and I'm going to take their Psychic Frog. And I'm not going to cast out my Mishra's Baubles quite yet. My plan now is to kill them with Saga Constructs. I have an unknown card in hand. It's not that Flooded Strand. I'm going to F6 here. They're likely to cast this Phalagi Archaeologist. They do. Grabbing an Unearth. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh, that was a very good draw. Pixis number 1. Pixis number 2. Mishra's Bauble. Mishra's Bauble. My first construct will be a 5/5. Your go. Did you find a Harbinger of the Seas in those 2 blind draws you took? They did find that, and they're unearthing a Psychic Frog. Yeah. Good luck. I don't even think I'm going to pop my Mishra's Baubles. Oh, that second Urza Saga. Oh, that's so good. Do I play that now? Or do I hold it and get as many constructs as I can? I think I'm going to hold it. And I have successfully dodged my opponent's forces. That is a Polluted Delta that I did not know about. Grabbing Basic Island. Yeah, let's make a 5/5. Are you going to jump it? You should jump this, right? They used a Sink into Stupor on my construct! Oh, that's where you want to be. That's exactly where you want to be. Oh, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. We love to see that. All right, this is going to grab a Pithing Needle, naming Psychic Frog. And we are officially Saga Gaming. That was beautiful. You may not have an Abhorrent Oculus. Please exile that face down. You can have a Ghost Vacuum. And this is exactly the position that I wanted to be in. My opponent having a ton of counter magic, and Urza Saga just completely dodging it. I think I will go ahead and draw this. This guy's going to learn to make more constructs. I'm going to attack here. My opponent did not block. I think I'm going to do it like this. And I don't think I need to punish this super badly. Wow. Yeah. I don't blame you. I wonder how much drawing the second Urza Saga influenced this. That was just a blind rip. I feel like I could have probably still gotten away with it. It would have just been a lot slower. I did have the Lantern Lock fully active. And maybe I would have chosen to not allow them to draw the Ghost Vacuum at that point. I don't know. What I do know is that my opponent's deck is pretty damn cool. I feel like this is the consistency of the Esper Glorio's deck with the power of Unearth Oculus, which is kind of, I don't know, Unearth Oculus is kind of our reanimate Troll of Khazad Dûm, isn't it? Maybe a bit stronger than that. I don't know. Go ahead and put that win on the board. That was great. That was fantastic. Okay, I'll go ahead and round up round 3. I keep this hand. This hand is a keep, for the record. This hand is a keep. It's got Stirrings for a Lantern, or a Needle, or a land, or something. It's got a Pixis in hand. It's got a clear progression. Blade of the Blood Chief. Whenever a creature dies, put a +1/+1 on a quick creature. If it's a vampire, put 2 on it instead. So we're playing against Vampire Tribal. Well, that's my 3rd land. I think I'm going to Inquisition my opponent instead of doing anything else. What on earth? It's not Vampire Tribal. This is some sort of insane combo deck. Oh, you know what they did? They ported that Insidious Glee or something like that. They ported the Pauper combo deck to Modern. This is just the combo part of it. So I don't really worry about Urza Saga here. Oh, what do I worry about? Glaring Fleshraker is really annoying. Kozilek's command is maybe not as annoying, but these two together are a combo, and I really worry about that. Glaring Fleshraker is just going to shred my life total. Malevolent Rumble can accelerate them into a combo kill. Do I just want to take all the O1s out of their deck? This is a really tough decision. I don't think I worry about the combo kill, because I have an Ensnaring Bridge in hand. So what do I worry about? I worry about this Glaring Fleshraker just shredding my life total after a bridge is resolved. I suppose my opponent could Rumble into the other half of the combo, and then I just die on turn 3. Maybe Fleshraker is a later problem. I'll go ahead and take the Rumble. And I'm going to F6 here. I wonder how much they're playing into Urza's Saga. Thoughtseize Bug. You got it. Alright, so they revealed Sowing Mica Spawn, Urza Saga, Thought Not Seer, and a Kozilek's Command. That's a really good hit, I think. Sowing Mica Spawn. Okay, well, now I'm kinda wishing that... What am I wishing for at this point? I don't know. I don't know what I'm wishing for at this point. I think I'm just gonna put the Profane Tutor on the stack and wish for something in a couple of turns. Oh, I wouldn't have died to the combo this turn. The thing wouldn't have had haste. That's interesting. Malevolent Rumble is out of their hand. They have something else in it instead. Second Urza Saga has entered the chat. Is this the Fleshraker? So now they can machine gun me with Fleshraker plus Kozilek's Command. I have a Saga of my own. I have an Ensnaring Bridge that I want to land, and I will go ahead and play this out. Pretty much just F6'd here. Blade of the Blood Chief, huh? I found this a long time ago off of a search for things that I could find off of Urza's Saga. And it was very interesting then. And it's pretty interesting now. They're not even making dudes, which I think is probably correct. They have an unknown card in hand. I genuinely might just grab a Thoughtseize off of the Profane Tutor that's coming off Suspend. Springleaf Drum was a good pickup. They still have 3 colorless mana that they can use. They're going to have a ton more once this Glaring Fleshraker starts making stuff. Let's see what they're going to do. What about third Urza Saga? What about third Urza Saga, they said. Kicked Sowing Mica Spawn. Brutal. This is absolutely brutal. I think that Lantern and Blueback Mill, to respond to Yukishi, hope I'm saying that correctly, I think that's a really good combination to have. One's got artifacts in it, one doesn't. One is more of a controlling build, the other one can be tuned to do a lot of different things. I think those are 2 very good decks to have. I do not believe that Lava Spur Boots is a good find in Lantern specifically. Yuki, got it. I do not believe that Lava Spur Boots is a good build in Lantern specifically, because I think that if you're going to win with constructs, then it's going to be more of an overwhelming advantage, and you can use the lock to prevent them from wriggling out of it. I don't think that Lava Spur Boots is really the direction that you want to go if you can just slow the game down enough for the constructs to do the job on their own. I do need to do something here. I could answer the immediate problem by finding an Assassin's Trophy for this Fleshraker. I could actually get a Collective Brutality, which would do a lot for me. I think Collective Brutality might be the pick here. And that would answer the Glaring Fleshraker and the Kozilek's Command at the same time. Wow, look at that. Well, let's go ahead and cast it. Neg2, and take your Kozilek's Command. Discarding the other Brutality, maybe. And it's a Forest. Okay, I will shock this in, and I'll play a Pixis. Now, I'm at an interesting point here. I could Mishra's Bauble my opponent, hope to fade a single draw, but I don't actually have a Lantern yet. Okay, my opponent is more or less locked up. Let's go ahead and let them do their thing. I think I will Bauble myself on their upkeep. That's an Urza Saga. I'm pretty happy with Urza Saga. I'm going to keep that on top. F6ing here. You know, Yuki, I don't even have Lantern built in person. I have purchased and sold my cards so many times over the 10 years that I've been playing the deck that sometimes I don't even have the deck built. Like right now, I've got probably half the cards that I need for it, and I'm working very slowly to build it in person again. But I've been doing all of my stuff online because of that. 12 cards out of a 76 card deck is a really good place to be in, I think. Of course they have a Haywire Might. Hopefully they only have one Haywire Might. If my opponent is taking this long to do their Ancient Stirrings, then they probably have a lot of really good options. That does not make me happy. That is a Basking Brood Scale. So they have the combo? Yeah, they have the combo. Alright, well, really unfortunate that they had that Haywire Might in their deck. Goodbye, Ensnaring Bridge. Now they can they kill me immediately? I don't think so. They can definitely kill me next turn. Do I want this Urza Saga now? I kind of want the Urza Saga. because I need the land. All right, let's go ahead and Stirrings. Oh, that works. I'd have to rely on them only having one Haywire Might in the deck, but I could just grab Pithing Needle, play my Urza Saga now, Stirrings again, find absolute garbage. Second Urza Saga, I guess. And now I can Pithing Needle, Blade of the Bloodchief. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Ah, well, they just made a 3-3. All right, sure. Yep, that's game. I'll go ahead and concede here, save a little bit of time. That sucks. Oh well. All right, so Basking Broodscale combo. These guys are getting in the deck. This guy is getting in the deck. Flaying Tendrils is also getting in the deck. Inquisitions are decent. Collective Brutalities were alright, but only as removal. Pithing Needle is pretty good. Grafdigger's Cage will stop exactly Urza Saga tutoring for Haywire Might. Does it stop anything else? Not really. I don't think I'm interested in a Grafdigger's Cage. Cling is bad. Do I want these 7 discard spells? I pretty badly want the discard spells, but I also want my Pithing Needles. In a situation like this, where I have all of these cards that I want to bring in... Ooh, do I want this? This will kill a Blade of the Bloodchief? That's basically it. I think I will survive long enough for the Profane Tutors to be good. Maybe I shave a single Tutor and a single Bauble. How do I feel about this? Do I shave a Millrock? I don't think so. Do I want to keep these Flaying Tendrils? I don't think Terra Sunder is a good option because it really only stops Urza Saga and Blade of the Bloodchief. But Flaying Tendrils isn't really that good of an option either. How about I take out the Flaying Tendrils, I bring back in my Profane Tutor and my Mishra's Bauble, keep my consistency high, and then do it like that. I don't really know how I feel about this. So take this sideboard plan with a grain of salt. I've never really played against this deck before. I will play first. This is pretty much just a keep, right? This is just a keep. I believe this is a turn 1 Thoughtseize hand. And turn 2 Stirrings for something, because this Darkboar pathway can be a Slitherboar pathway. And then play a Pithing Needle on Haywire Might. Turn 3 Slam and Ensnaring Bridge, and I'll have Assassin's Trophy to hit a Glaring Fleshraker that comes into play later. I think it could be decent. I think that it could definitely be decent. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Turn 1 Thoughtseize you. Yeah, that's a hand. So I kind of want to leave the Basking Broodscale in their hand. I'm going to take the Ancient Stirrings because it looks at the most cards. And I'm going to disrespect Basking Broodscale. Like, if I really need to, I can Assassin's Trophy a Broodscale. My opponent plays a Forest, has no other plays. That is an excellent draw. Let's go ahead and play this Ancient Stirrings now. Finding an Urza Saga, you don't say. Yes, please. And this will definitely go on Haywire Might. And next turn, I can play my Urza Saga and hold up Assassin's Trophy, in case they have the combo. That's Urza Saga down. And they're choosing whether to cast Broodscale or Malevolent Rumble, I think. They revealed... Pick your poison, Urza Saga, Shifting Woodland, and Boseiju. And they took Boseiju. Well, let's go ahead and completely pivot our plan now. Just bold-faced walking straight into a Boseiju. I could have Assassin's Trophy their Urza Saga right there, but I think that would have been a little bit too aggressive. And my constructs are going to be bigger than theirs. My opponent has a decent chunk of things that they can do. That's an Ancient Stirrings. So they're spending mana on that right now for a Kozilek's Command. Alright, they played out their Forests. They played out their Basking Broodscale, which I'm probably just going to kill on sight, right? Like, I just kill that on sight. I've been holding up this Assassin's Trophy specifically for Broodscale. I will exile face down in case I exile a Faceit Forest and they don't have any more. And I will just go ahead and kill that on sight. Oh, they had tapped out of Boseiju. Well, they're still tapped out of Boseiju. So I'm going to have this Ensnaring Bridge and Profane Tutor in hand still. I know that my opponent has a Kozilek's Command in hand and that they're probably going to be using it soon. I think I'm fine with that. I will make my dude now to try and dodge a Pithing Needle on Urza Saga, I suppose. Still going to make it now. It's basically free to do. It's not like Kozilek's Command is a sorcery. They got 6 cards in hand, Prismatic Vista, Boseiju, and Kozilek's Command. 3 unknowns. They are making a construct here, so what do I want to do about that? Let's just go ahead and make my own in response. Mine's bigger than yours, mine's bigger than yours. Haywire Might. Beautiful. Grove of the Burn Willows. It's just a dual green colorless source in their deck. I think I played Grove of the Burn Willows in a old Lantern list at one point. My Pixis. My Pixis, you say? My Pixis. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and fetch a checks notes. It doesn't even have to be... Oh, wow. Yeah, Underground Mortuary for Bloodchief's Thirst. Do I want a Bloodchief's Thirst in this board state, knowing that they've only got this many creatures? I don't really think I want that. Like, did my opponent misclick? Like, I genuinely wonder if my opponent misclicked there. Like, were they trying to hit this Pithing Needle? Now I can do this. And this can find a Lantern of Insights with a Pixis on top of the deck. I think I'm going to attack first. They're just taking it? Yeah, they just took it. I will go ahead and suspend this Profane Tutor now. I have this Ensnaring Bridge as an emergency don't lose button. Alright, so Prismatic Vista. Prismatic Vista, that's fine. Blade of the Bloodchief. Yeah, that's fine. They can make one thing really, really big using their Kozilek's command, but they didn't even equip it. Do I even take this Pick Your Poison? I kind of want to take the Pick Your Poison, but I think I should leave that decision up to my upkeep. Let's go ahead and play out this Pithing Needle right now. And I think I'm just going to start hitting their stuff. Haywire Might, Boseiju Who Endures. Very good. Play out a Pixis now. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, do I think that they can kill me? Prismatic Vista, Kozilek's Command. They could... Kozilek's Command. They could... Well, if they Kozilek's Commanded now... If they have like 2 Kozilek's Commands and I die, I kind of don't want to worry about that. I kind of just want to not even bother with this anymore, attacking with these constructs. I'm going to let this Pick Your Poison go through, I think. All right, are you going to cast something here? Maybe. This Pick Your Poison is a trap. It's just definitely, absolutely a trap. I did Needle Boseiju already, so that's okay. I'm going to allow this Kozilek's command to resolve. I guess I would have been dead to 2 Kozilek's commands anyway. No, not really. I don't know. I still don't think that it was correct to attack in that position. I've got an Ensnaring Bridge. I have a Profane Tutor coming off Suspend next turn. That is a Brood Scale. They scry 2 to top. I don't really need to be pushing anything right now. Yeah, I'll go ahead and let this Pick Your Poison happen. Yep, glad I did. I'd much rather lose this Mycosynth Gardens. So they have a Basking, Brood Scale. Oop! I let that just happen. That shouldn't have been a good thing. I just let that happen. That's not good. I'll go ahead and sacrifice the Construct. My opponent still has not equipped Blade of the Bloodchief to anything, and I don't think I'm going to die this turn. Okay, that's fine. I don't even need the discard spell now. Just gonna go ahead and F0 here. Okay, we're in very good shape. My opponent should not have told me what their last card in hand was. Just gonna go ahead and do a little bit of autopiloting stuff here. Yeah, you got it, that's fine. Don't really want this forest on top of my deck anyway. I might just grab an Urza Saga. Yeah, I'm gonna grab an Urza Saga. Yep, that's fine. Okay, Urza Saga is down. Ancient Stirrings is going to find Stone Cold nothing, and then this Ensnaring Bridge is going to happen. Now, they can still machine gun me by drawing a Kozilek's command or something like that, and then putting this on a 1/1, on a 0/1, and then pumping it after attacks. I think I'm just gonna not allow that to happen. Maybe this Urza Saga will find the 3rd needle. But I'm in a really good spot right now. Yeah, you cannot draw that. I said you cannot draw that. You can draw that. Alright, F0. Go ahead and play your Basking Brood Scale. They can make infinite 0/1s here. So let's just hope that my opponent doesn't see that, I suppose. Oh, I have Urza Saga that can block. Because I don't think they can give it trample. Yeah, that's fine. And this is the 0/1 that they're going to swing in with now. Okay. Oh, they're doing that. They're doing that. I guess that's fine. Yep, they can make infinite 0/1s. I just need to make sure to... Oh, yeah, you got it. And I think I'm just going to find a Shredder at this point. Probably should have milled that Urza Saga earlier. It's fine. It's less fine. It's fine. Unfortunately, this means that I can no longer F6 through their turn. Wait, who am I kidding? I can still F6 through their turn. Because if they do all of the setup, then they can still only swing with one creature, and F6ing still allows me to block. Oop, don't F6 though. F0. Alright, let's go ahead and get them dead. And I don't really want to have them draw Sowing Mycospawn because that's a land tutor. That's not allowed either. That's definitely not allowed. That's fine. Go ahead and make this guy now. And F0. And this game's a lock. Okay, yeah, and my opponent saw it. Very good. Alright, now we just have to win against this on the draw, which is a lot more concerning. Now, what else did I see? I saw Delighted Halfling. Saw Basejus. Definitely reasons to keep Needle in the deck. Do I bring in my Flaying Tendrils? I could see an instance in which a Flaying Tendrils could mop up a Glaring Fleshraker and all of its associated duders. It would be at the expense of my consistency package. I don't know. I don't know. I think it might be too slow. Maybe. I'm not entirely certain. This hand is garbage. We can't keep this. I'm snap mulliganing this. My opponent has also mulliganed. I can keep this. Go ahead and bottom the basic forest. This is not a very strong hand, mind you. This is a pretty weak hand. But it does have a plan, which is turn 3 Ensnaring Bridge and pray. My opponent has kept 6. Down to 5. Down to 4. That's acceleration. That's terrifying. I would very much like to have a discard spell, not gonna lie. That's kind of where I'm at right now. And short of a discard spell, then I will take a Blood Chief's Thirst to hit their Brute Scale that hopefully will be landing. Or not landing if I don't draw the Blood Chief's Thirst. Maybe my opponent just kept 5 lands and a Delighted Halfling. Nope, they didn't. Alright, well this is a bunch of good stuff. And they took the Brood Scale. Okay, that's a Prismatic Vista out of their hand. And presumably a Brood Scale that they're going to be landing this turn. Blade of the Blood Chief. Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in a lot of things right now. Not really interested in that. Lantern's a decent pickup. Alright, Urza Saga. Lantern. Inquisition. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Basking Brute Scale is a 2/2. So my opponent could Thought Knot Brute Scale next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'd rather them do that. So I think I'm going to take the Haywire Might here. Am I going to take the Haywire Might here? Yeah, I'm going to take the Haywire Might. Okay. And I'm going to pray that they have another dead card underneath this Eldrazi Temple because Actually, I don't need to draw this Inquisition. I need the Fleshraker to not be on top of their deck. Okay, Eldrazi Temple is down. I'm F0ing here. Brood Scale is down. Will my opponent cast Thought Knot Seer, or will they just do this? They're just going to do this. And then they're going to gain infinite dudes, and then they can play the Thought Knot Seer at their leisure. Very glad that I'm F6ing here. Or F0ing. Yep, that's the combo. That's the combo. I've got 2 Ensnaring Bridges in my hand, and you can only take one of them. You cannot give your Brood Scale haste, but you can tap Grove of the Burn Willows for green. Thought Knot Seer is fine. Take a look. Which Ensnaring Bridge do you want to pick? The one with the white border or the one with the white border? And Thought Knot Seer is out of my opponent's hand. I'm going to exile face down here. And I will have at most 1 card in my hand. Alright. This is just a classic lock right here. No real big deal. Why am I at 23 life? So they can make infinite dudes and infinite mana at will. So I am going to just F6 here. Oh, they can't make infinite dudes. Yeah, they can't make infinite dudes. That's fine then. Let's go ahead and fix this. Upkeep. Fix this again, because I know I don't want them drawing that Kozilek's command, and I don't want to draw this Polluted Delta anyway. Oh, that's a good pickup. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just grab a ton of Mill Rocks and slam this game shut. Alright, now I control what happens. And I do kind of want this Assassin's Trophy just to get the Blade of the Bloodchief off the table. I don't want to think about it. So I'm going to set a stop on their draw step. I'm going to kill the Blade of the Bloodchief. And I'm going to F0. Let's go ahead and save targets with this Codex Shredder. Save ourselves a little bit of time. Exile, exile, exile. You know, I'll draw this Thoughtseize. I'm going to sandbag the Thoughtseize. Sowing Mycospawn can tutor a land. I don't really want them having it. Kozilek's command is a big fat nope. So I am going to take 1, 2, 3. 3 damage every turn I hold this. The big stuff cannot attack. Nothing else they have matters. I can safely hold this then. Delighted Halfling is fine. That's fine. Let's go ahead and exile now. I really just... I could remove their ability to create spawns. I'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and kill this guy. And Thoughtseize myself. I don't need to hold this anymore, I guess. Okay, Blade of the Bloodchief is a perfectly reasonable draw. You may have it. Go ahead and mill you, exile, exile. And with a strong enough lock like this one, you don't really need to do much as far as support pieces. Like that Boseiju still needs to go. I'll leave the Sowing Mycospawn on top of the deck. They can kick that Sowing Mycospawn if they want to, and they can find any land and put it onto the battlefield. I don't think I need to risk it. Yes, it's fine. I'm going to take a little bit of damage from that, I think. The Mycosynth Gardens in their deck is very interesting, but I don't really think they have a way to really abuse that Glaring Fleshraker. Let's go ahead and exile. Can I kill them before this Urza Saga comes off suspend? I don't think so. But I'm going to draw this Ancient Stirrings, and I'm going to see what's up. Pithing Needle. That's fine. Yeah, let's go ahead and just play Pithing Needle out. They already have a Blade of the Bloodchief in play. Let's go ahead and just hit Boseiju again. Boseiju is needled. Blade of the Bloodchief is gone. Shifting Woodland would be really scary. I'm glad I've kept them off Sowing Mycospawns. They're just equipping their stuff, I guess. Let's go ahead and take that Shifting Woodland. That's kind of scary. Don't want them having that. Pixis is fine. They're only going to get, what, 2 draws? Yeah, I just don't need them drawing anything right now. I think I'm going to keep 2 rocks as a backup. Cast this on a Eldrazi spawn. My opponent will be able to deal 2 to me, but not really more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they don't have another draw. This is their last draw. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And I win the match. Wow, that was something. Brood Scale combo ported from Pauper to Modern, where you have access to really cool tech like Glaring Fleshraker, Eldrazi Temple. The Seditious Glee, or whatever it is, becomes Blade of the Bloodchief, which means that you have Urza Saga to go get it, and all sorts of other cool stuff. This is a really cool deck. I hope that our opponent finds a lot of success playing it, and I hope that every single time I play against them, I just have an Ensnaring Bridge backed by a Lantern with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Millrocks on it. Okay, we are starting round 4 versus Walshi for life. Hello, I will play against you. I don't know if this hand is good enough though. I mean, it's got Saga Gaming, it's got 2 Stirrings, so it's not like I'm not doing... It's not like I'm doing nothing. It's got a Witherbloom command to try and help stabilize against a more aggro deck. I'll keep it. I'm not particularly enthused about it. I could see a lot of ways where this hand would go wrong. But Urza Saga is a really powerful Magic card, so maybe it's fine. Not going to F6 because I don't want to advertise... Oh, I see. Well, we know what we're playing against now. This is a turn 1 Urza Saga hand. Did our opponent mulligan really low? How low did they mulligan? They didn't, actually. They just played a lot of stuff. Thundertrap Trainer is fine. And I'll be able to get the Pithing Needle for Belcher just before they're able to activate it. Whir of Invention. Well, let's just hope that they're on a mono blue list. This is a second Urza Saga hand. Literally nothing else matters right now. And both of these are grabbing Pithing Needle for Belcher. That would mean that they would have to have double Sink into Stupor, Oh, they have Whir of Invention of hand. I am a bad streamer. I'm not keeping track of their hand. Both of these are grabbing Pithing Needle for Belcher. I'll be able to make a single creature, and I will make a single creature. What a strange game this is. I still haven't shown my opponent anything other than double Urza Saga. Kyle says that my opponent could be on a selective Memory plus Thassa's Oracle build. They could be. That would make me sad. That would suck. I'm just gonna hope that they're not on that build. I don't think they are, because they have Whir of Invention in their list. My opponent is just seeing that I have double Urza Saga and is wondering what the hell went wrong. Just, what am I playing, first off? Maybe they're looking me up and they're gonna see my 5-0 from a couple of days ago and they're gonna be like, ah, damn, this guy's got 3 main deck Pithing Needles and I'm gonna get 2 of them in uncounterably? Probably just seal the game right there. Single blocker will be good enough to hold back their entire whatever they could possibly make. And for the record, I am not F6'd because I have to represent Force of Negation. Oh man. They're just holding open blue mana, shocking it in, bolting it in even, not attacking. They're afraid. They're afraid! No consigned to memory? Sure. Get Pithing Needled on Goblin Charbelcher, and I will show you a Verdant Catacombs and a basic Swamp. I will make my dude now, and it's not as likely that I don't have Force of Negation in hand, but I'm still gonna represent it because I think it's funny. Whir of Invention is out of their hand now. I suppose this means that Sink into Stupor plus Belcher does actually do it. They would need Sink into Stupor, Belcher, and untapped blue source right now. That's not a wholly unreasonable ask, I think. Let's see what they do. Given that they are not doing anything, I don't think they have it. Double light. Are they just casting Charbelcher right now? They're casting Tameshi. They could cast the Selendi Vision if they wanted to. Tameshi is kind of scary right here. Tameshi is kind of scary. They just drew an additional card. Uh-oh. That's not good. What are they doing? What are they doing? Do you have it or do you not have it? And people say that Lantern's the slow deck. There's just a lot of intricate decisions involved. Everyone watching right now, how's your day been? Have you enjoyed the stream so far? While we wait for our Belcher opponent to do whatever it is they're doing. I'm sure that they have some sort of, I don't know, like 5-head, Super Saiyan, amazing world-ending combo finish line here that they're just trying to piece together. Or perhaps they're just staring at their hand full of Flare of Denial and Force of Negation, wondering what to do. For the record, they currently have access to 2, 4, 7, 10, 11 mana, which means they could cast the Selendi, they could find a Sink. Okay, so they have, right now, 3, 6, and then you can consider this to be an additional 2 per land. So they've got 8, 10. They have 10 mana right now. They have 11 mana because they have a white floating. If they cast the Selendi Vision, they go to 8. If they cast the Sink into Stupor, they go to 5. If they cast the Goblin Charbelcher, they go to 1. I'm going to sit here for a second, thinking that I'm pretending about if I want to counter this or not. Kyle's correct. They have not played a land this turn, which would mean that they could go up to 3 after the Belcher resolving. So if this Selendi Vision finds a Sink into Stupor, which with every passing second is less and less likely, then yes, they could just completely wreck me here. But they took a Seagate Restoration. I don't think I die. That being said, this was a pretty powerful start for them. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so now they have 3, 6, 9, anywhere between 11 and 12 mana, if they have a land in hand, which they probably do. And that it has access to blue and white, which are both, well, blue's a good color. Blue's a good color. They're shocking in. I think they found the line. I think they found the line. I think I might be dead. Do they have it? Do they have it? I think they have something. They might have something. After all this time, they might have something. They don't have it. They're just Seagate Restorationing. They have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. That's what that says? Yeah. All right. Well, wow. Just like that. All right, so this list plays 4 Sink into Stupors. I think it's still correct to just grab Pithing Needle, right? And now I just need to burn through 13 cards. How do I even do this? This does not stop Tameshi in the slightest. Oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You can't talk me out of it. You cannot talk me out of it. I'm going to grab an Overgrown Tomb here. I would like to pay the 2 life. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Target player mills 3 cards. Destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent. Boop. And boop. My opponent is probably so confused, wondering what on earth I'm playing. Let's just put this into perspective for my opponent. My opponent has seen Urza's Saga into Pithing Needle, Urza's Saga into Pithing Needle, and then black and green lands, and then Witherbloom Command, which I was not expecting to resolve at all, so that's completely fine. Grafdigger's Cage? Grafdigger's Cage, opponent? Does this resolve? Or are you going to use one of your 4 counterspells that you have in hand to kill it? Maybe even more than 4, maybe like 6. Okay, that's fine. You are now under pressure. What an absolutely ridiculous, insane game. Do I bluff Force Negation still? I'm going to bluff Force Negation still. I think it's funny. My opponent does have 4 Sink into Stupors in their deck. They might have 1 in hand right now. They might even have 2 in hand right now. But I do not believe that they can Sink into Stupor twice and also win. And if they want to shock in a land, it's not a shock, it's a bolt. And they fall to 4, which makes this construct lethal. Wouldn't it be really funny if they used a Sink into Stupor on the construct token and just kind of reset the game, except now they need a bunch of remaining stuff? That would be funny. I would like that. I would think I would enjoy that game. You know what else I would also enjoy? Sitting here for 12 minutes and 37 seconds, wondering if my opponent can cobble a line together. And then going to game 2, where I have access to 12 discard spells, hopefully drawing 1 or even 2 of them in hand, slowing the game down enough to where I win due to time. Oh, there's the bolt. Here we go. Cephalogy Archaeologist. Yeah, that resolves. I can't Flare of Denial that one. And they milled all creatures. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Oh, they're getting aggressive. They're getting aggressive. The audacity. How dare you? I'm going to drop this Mycosynth Gardens pre-combat. Are you going to block this construct token? Are you going to Sink into Stupor it? 3 mana, it's a Sink into Stupor on construct token. When I have 2 Pithing Needles naming Goblin Charbelcher in play. I think this is the best news that I've seen all day. So now I'm under a, 4-turn clock, 5-turn clock, something like that. Let's go ahead and Ancient Stirrings here. My opponent has 10 cards in there. I choose 3 Ensnaring Bridges. Are you kidding? That's so funny. That's ridiculously funny. That's hilarious. That's beautiful. All right. Jig is up. I'm on Ensnaring Bridge. I'm an Ensnaring Bridge gamer. Honestly, even if I lose this game, I'm not mad. This game has been enough fun for at least an entire match. Yo, tap land. I wonder if I could Mycosynth Gardens on a Pithing Needle and trick my opponent. Alright, so they have a Flare of Denial in hand. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. What about 3rd Urza Saga? You think that 3rd Urza Saga is good enough? Because I think it just might be. Alright. Jig is up. I am a Lantern Control gamer. What a ridiculous game. What an absolutely insane, stupid, just... It's a great game. This is the best game. This is the best game. Let it be known that my opponent is tapping their white-producing land, presumably on something that... Oh, nope, they're actually doing it. They're doing a thing. They're trying to do a thing here. So let's see how much mana my opponent has access to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They cannot... Oh, they haven't played a land. So they have access to 13. If they bolt themselves down to 1. Oh my goodness. What a game. They are choosing. They did, in fact, bolt themselves. The cheeky attack down to 8. Let's go ahead and exile the top card of everyone's deck face down. Maybe that'll take a Sink into Stupor. Oh, Profane Tutor's coming off Suspend. Sure. I will very gladly get a free Demonic Tutor, thank you. You should Force of Will this. Please, Force of Will this. Come on. I'm gonna grab... This Profane Tutor could be anything. It could even be another Urza Saga. Do I get another Urza Saga? Or is that just too big of a meme? Am I enjoying myself too much? Oh my god, they let it resolve. I'm enjoying myself too much. I'm gonna grab the Urza Saga. Hey, it's an Inquisition. Get this card in my hand countered. Yeah, you got it. This is the most interesting game I've played in my entire life. That's a bit of a hyperbole, but it is probably the most interesting game I've played today, for sure. All right, so they have access to 3, 5, 7, 9. They cannot bolt themselves again. 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 14. They have access to a decent chunk of mana here. Certainly enough to win the game. They go to 11 to sink, go to 8 to sink again, go to 4 to play a Goblin Charbelcher, and then go to 1 to activate it. Flare Denial's out of their hand. That's been out of their hand for a long time. Fun fact, the plugin that I coded for OBS to show my opponent's hand is all manual entry, and it only can hold 9 cards. It breaks if you put more than 9 cards in it, like visually breaks. I have never thought that this would be a problem until just now. Yeah, that's what I thought. Casting another Lotus Bloom, I see. All right, well, this is a lethal attacker, and I'm just gonna grab a third Pithing Needle. I'm having too much fun. Can't you tell I'm having too much fun? Do I Thoughtseize them? Or do I just make another construct and win next turn? I think I'm just going to make another construct and win next turn. I mean, they could cast any number of creatures. No way, they have it? Oh, no way. Yeah, Sink into Stupor. They now need all 3 of the remaining 3 Sink into Stupors. They have 1 of them. And I went, wow. I would write home to my mom about it if I ever wrote home to my mom. What on earth was that game? That was hilarious. Don't I have like 20 minutes left on my clock or something ridiculous like that? I think I have 20 minutes left on my clock. Anyway, Cling is bad. Grafdigger's Cage is bad. Pithing Needles are what the entire game revolve around. Assassin's Trophy is decent. Ensnaring Bridges are bad. Do I want all of the Ensnaring Bridges out of the deck? I'm not sure. Do I want Witherbloom Command in the deck? Not really. It was kind of funny in that particular case, but I don't really think it's all that good. Cited out these 6 things. Ensnaring Bridges, I still want 1 as a tutor target, but I don't really think the game plan revolves around Ensnaring Bridges. Their creatures are small enough and expensive enough to where Urza Saga can mop them up. So Extirpate, Duress, and Assassin's Trophy come in. That's perfectly fine. Kyle says that most decks these days are splashing white for Portable Hole, so in games 2 and 3, I will have to look out for Portable Hole off of Whirrin Invention. This is correct. In fact, if you take a look at my previous video, my previous stream specifically, because the VOD for that got corrupted and I couldn't make it into a video. But round 3, I played against another Belcher opponent. A Belcher opponent who has a YouTube channel and actually recorded their side of the game. And it was just an all-around fantastic time. Ooh, do I keep this hand that has triple discard in it, plus a Lantern Lock? Do I keep this hand that has triple discard in it? I can go 1, 2, 3 discards. I'm feeling a bit spicy. Knowing the matchup, I'm going to keep this. What did we do? Like, why would we be Lantern Control gamers if we weren't also just absolutely wrecking our opponent with nasty things? I'll go ahead and take a look at my top card here. Oh, we're here for a good time. We are here for a good time. We are here for a very good time. My opponent has a handful of just absolutely irrelevant stuff. I'm gonna take... What do I even take out of this hand? I think I'm gonna take the Tameshi. Do I even really care? Like, at this point, I don't even really care. I'm going to take the Tameshi just because I feel like. Jig's up. I'm not playing Force of Negation. All right, so they have an unknown card in their hand. The Hydroelectric Specimen is down. That's funny. I think I'm just going to continue discarding my opponent until I draw a land. And then after I draw a land, I'm going to, guess what? Continue discarding my opponent. I think eventually I do need a second land, though. Lantern is ahead on time because my opponent spent 20 minutes trying to figure out how to beat triple Pithing Needle. All of them gotten off of Urza's Saga. And fun fact, they could not beat triple Pithing Needle. Flare Denial, wow, that was wholly expected. That's a Whir of Invention. Oh, my opponent only has one card in hand. So they have a Lotus Bloom coming off of Suspend. If this remaining card in hand is an untapped land, then I just lose, right? Because my opponent can Whir for 4, grab a Belcher, and then have the mana necessary to pop it the next turn. I think I am comfortable taking that risk. My opponent has played 2 untapped blue sources already. I'm going to take the risk. Oh, they suspended a Lotus Bloom, and I missed it. Yep. If you've got the win, you've got the win. Oops, that's not the right one. They have the win. Oh, they just have it in hand. Well, you know what? It's been fun, but I think we're going to go out with the ship. Do I make myself shuffle? I have to make myself shuffle, right? And I need to top deck exactly Pithing Needle. Yo, it's an Assassin's Trophy. Oh, I should have made them reveal their deck to me. Oh, well. It's fine. They drew the Goblin Charbelcher at some point, but not exactly sure when. And let this be a lesson to everybody here. This is why we play Lantern Control instead of Pox, instead of 8-Rack, because they did draw the Belcher. I didn't have a lock, so it didn't matter if their hand was completely discarded. They just top-decked the card they needed, played LOL Belcher, and it's fine. And I could not play my Assassin's Trophy because I had an Urza's Saga instead of a black or a green producing land. Oh well, I kept the meme hand and I lived the meme, which is my opponent killing me in 1 minute. Yes, I would like to play first. See, this is a much more reasonable hand. I will keep this. And I'm going to fetch Shock here. My opponent is F6'd. That Harbinger of the Seas will be coming down at some point. I think I'm going to grab this basic Swamp. Go ahead and Thought Seize our opponent. Oh. I mean, I'm taking a Sink right here, right? Like, I just have to take a Sink into Stupor. But this is a really interesting hand. Double Tameshi means that when that Lotus Bloom comes off Suspend, then they can just kind of pop off. So I'm going to have to hit that Whir of Invention at some point. And it's not good enough to just play Pithing Needle. It would be good enough to just play Pithing Needle and then rely on double Pixis if I took the second Sink to Stupor. That means that Whir of Invention would have to go get Portable Hole to take the Pithing Needle, but then they don't have Whir to do the thing that they actually want to do it. This can return Portable Holes if it needs to. I mean, I'm taking the Sink. My opponent's going to draw this Harbinger of the Seas. I'm going to play the Hydroelectric Specimen. I'm going to draw this Polluted Delta. Oh, it's a Pixis. I already have 2 Pixi. I'm going to go ahead and grab... I could grab an Underground Mortuary here. That's interesting. That would mean I couldn't play double Pixis this turn. Kyle says they should have played their Sink into Stupor as a land. If they did that, then I would discard the Whir of Invention and then Needle the Tameshi. So taking Sink into Stupor here does lock them out of a lot of stuff, including playing Harbinger of the Seas this upcoming turn, or Whir of Invention. I could just take the Whir here. I think I'm going to take the Sink into Stupor. I don't think that I need to be fancy about it. I don't think I need to be fancy about it at all. Let's just go ahead and play a Pixis, play a Needle, Goblin Charbelcher, and let's just not worry about it. Okay, that Suppression Ray has been played as a land. So this Whir of Invention is going to be able to pop off next turn. They can hit Portable Hole for my Pithing Needle on Goblin Charbelcher, which, by the way, is a red herring. The real card that they need to hit here is the Lantern of Insight. That's an Assassin's Trophy. Let's go ahead and play out my stuff. Okay. Yep, you've got a Lotus Bloom. Just a tap land. It's basically the best thing that they could have for me. That's a good play. It's a really smart play, I think. I think that's a very wise play on my opponent's part. Yeah, you got it. Bane Veil has been played. I would love another discard spell right about now. Not gonna lie. So now they're gonna go ahead and Tameshi make a whole bunch of mana. Yeah, you got a Harbinger, that's fine. If you think playing Lantern is hard, you should try building it. That's ridiculously hard. This is activated only as a sorcery. Yeah, I'll go ahead and exile. That's getting exiled. Sad that the Extirpate had to go. Do I need a discard spell right this second? I don't think so. I don't think my opponent can actually do much right now. Hydroelectric Specimen. Notably, they can attack, which is kind of scary. Oh, they can attack quite quickly. Oh, that's really scary. Maybe I should have had more respect for that, huh? Especially since Urza Saga is not live. I'm just gonna go ahead and F0 here. There's not really much I can do. My opponent gets 6 cards in hand. Oh, they returned a land, and then they targeted something on the top of their deck. They got another Harbinger of the Seas in play. Still need to find my Ensnaring Bridge here. I played Urza Saga into Harbinger because it was useless in my hand. Let's go ahead and Pixis here. I actually might lose this. I actually think that there's a really good chance that I lose this right now. This Mistress Bauble is a cantrip. I don't think that's good enough for me to consider keeping it. That's additional digs towards a bridge. So I've essentially got to find my bridge in the top, like, 8 cards of my deck or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, Bane Veil is good. Played that immediately as a land. Yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm officially in trouble. I did not respect their creature plan enough, especially the Harbinger of the Seas. You may not have an Into the Floodmaw. You may have a Hydroelectric Specimen. And I honestly don't really know what's in my opponent's hand anymore. Not much. I know that they don't have a bounce spell or a counter spell in their hand. They do not have access to Sink into Stupor right now. Yeah, that's fine. And Bridge is mana value 3 and is too big to be hit with a portable hole. Alright, let's go ahead and see what's up. That's hilarious. Keeping the Urza Saga in hand would have actually not mattered. Alright, here we go. Bridge off the top rope. Nope. Okay, wow. Wow. Maybe my opponent will take 54 seconds to attack. Okay, so this was me not being respectful of their backup plan enough. That's all this is. I could have won this if I had been more respectful of them swinging out with all of these 2 power creatures. That's it. That's it. Yeah, it was a nice try. If I had tried better, then I could have won this. That's okay. Okay, we are on round 5 versus RXB Coat 31. I would very much like to play against you. Thank you for joining the league, I guess. This hand is garbage. I'm mulliganing it. Ugh. This hand isn't much better. This hand really isn't much better. My opponent kept... Yeah, my opponent kept 6. I'm going to bother him with a Witherbloom command just because I think that that is the least castable card. A Meticulous Archive. Kept on top. Land? Do I take their top with Shredder? Do I fetch an Overgrown Tomb or a Swamp? Meticulous Archive. What does that mean? That likely means Jeskai Control, maybe? Goryo's Vengeance, maybe? Decks that don't really win in chunks of 1 or 2 damage. I think I will allow myself to draw Ancient Stirrings as an out to a 3rd land or something, and I will shock this in. Now the question is, what do I play? I have really 3 things that are valid to play here. I could play Lantern, Shredder, or Inquisition. Shredder would take the top card of their deck. I'm kind of in the mood to take the top card of their deck here. Let's go ahead and mill that. Sink into Stupor, really? Well, that's not actually that helpful in determining what your deck is. That's certainly not helpful. What on earth? A Hedge Maze. And they play it immediately. Are they on Persist? They're on Living End? Oh, dear God. Alright. Well, Grafdigger's Cage is... Wow, there's the Witherbloom command I bought him. Grafdigger's Cage is not effective against Living End. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Inquisition of Kozilek, which is effective against taking Living End. Or Endurances, apparently. That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. That's disgusting too. All of these things are disgusting, and I wish I didn't have to play against any of them. And I also wish that I had a second land drop right now instead of this Witherbloom command in my hand. And now this Codex Shredder is just a straight up liability. Land. Yes. Always had it. Press the enemy. Titan Othrex, Street Wraith. Do I Profane Tutor now and hope to fade another draw? I don't think so. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize the Press the Enemy and then play a Lantern. It was an island that they drew. So yeah, Press the Enemy is gone. Commandeer, seriously? Alright, yeah, you got a Commandeer. If they cycle Street Wraith to try and draw this Force of Negation, I'm just going to let it go. I might even... This is a bit dangerous to do, but I'm going to do this. I'm trying to bait out that Street Wraith. That's fine. Alright, Urza Saga, get in play. Profane Tutor, get on Suspend. Grafdigger's Cage, get into play, even though it doesn't do anything. Alright. My opponent can start hardcasting Generous Ents pretty soon. Yeah, you got it. Lush Portico for Sink into Stupor. And I really don't want them drawing another Street Wraith. Curator of Mysteries. That's something that they can play very, very soon. Alright, this Profane Tutor is going to do a thing. I'm going to... Do I F6 here? Do I want them drawing that Curator and just playing it? Is it fine? I think I'm going to kill them faster than they can kill me. I think I'm going to let them have it. They are going to go ahead and play it. They're not going to go ahead and play it. Well, that means that they're particularly vulnerable to Urza Saga Construct beats right now. And I'm just going to kind of let all of this happen. Profane Tutor's coming off Suspend. What do I want to grab with this? Do I want to back up Ensnaring Bridge? I think backup Ensnaring Bridge is the prudent thing to do. I think I'm going to grab a backup Ensnaring Bridge in case my Urza Saga Construct plan doesn't pan out. Titan Othrex, Street Wraith, Commandeer, Curator of Mysteries. I think I will just grab a Pixis. Alright. And if opponent does nothing, then they are dead on my next turn. And I have a backup plan in this Ensnaring Bridge. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I haven't seen Living End in literal years, I think. Titan Othrex being replaced with Striped Riverwinder. Endurance is just a flash blocker at this point. Okay, this is fine. This is a lethal attack. They'll flash in the Endurance, buy themselves one turn. And I have enough draw control here to where I'm not really worried about anything. Alright, I'll play this Underground Mortuary. Probably get rid of the Swamp, honestly. And I'll not F6, because my opponent has a bunch of cycling stuff in hand. Alright, Striped Riverwinder becomes Forest. Endurance is out of their hand. Curator of Mysteries becomes Misty Rainforest. And you may draw a Living End. Yeah? Yeah, you can draw a Living End. And that's game. Nice. Okay. Take game 1 versus Living End, of all things. Grafdigger's Cage. Not good. Pithing Needles. Pretty good. Pretty good. Witherbloom Command. Not good. Assassin's Trophy. I feel like most of their stuff is going to be spell-based. I think I'm going to risk siding out all of my Assassin's Trophies. Extirpates are probably good. I think Cling to Dust might be decent. Not sure if it's better than these Duresses that I absolutely definitely want to bring in. I could side out these 3 cards. That would bring me up to 10 discard. I think that's probably fine. Alright, shh. I think I'd rather have a Collective Brutality. Alright, that's fine. I think this matchup is going to be about landing and protecting Ensnaring Bridge. I'm not certain that my opponent has much that they can do outside of that. I'm going to keep this. It's a turn 4 Ensnaring Bridge, which is probably good enough, especially when backed by discard. Endurance is the only take. They have Ottawaras, which is something that I can needle off of this Urza Saga. I'm expecting that they're going to probably have a Boseiju or 2 somewhere. Generous Ent is gone. Lush Portico is in hand. Lush Portico is not in hand. They surveilled away a Waker of Waves. I will go ahead and play this Urza Saga and Profane Tutor. Yeah, because they don't have enough stuff in their graveyard to kill me in one hit right now, I think. Now they do. Maybe close. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. 3, 8, 11, 18. I can math. Yep, that wasn't good. Let it be noted that that was not good. Oh, I can make an Urza Saga construct. which will be a 2/2 creature. Seriously? I think this Urza Saga has to get the Needle for the Otawara. I don't think I can afford to do anything else with it. Alright, they're going to swing with their team. I'm going to take 11, assuming that this goes through, which it might not, because they might have a Sink into Stupor, or they might use their Otawara right now. Dang. Alright, so this Profane Tutor must get an Ensnaring Bridge. I land Bridge. I land Bridge. And then I have too many cards in hand, so it doesn't matter. Let me think about this. Pathway, Thoughtseize, Pixis. Land, 2 cards, land. 5, 6. I'd need to dump 4 cards. I would need to dump 4 cards. I can't dump 4 cards. So if I can't dump 4 cards, then I would need to... I can dump 4 cards if I top deck exactly Mishra's Bauble. Or if I top deck a discard spell, I can dump 4 cards. Okay, I'll go ahead and grab Ensnaring Bridge here. So I would need to draw either exactly Mishra's Bauble or Inquisition of Kozilek here, which is more outs than everything else. And that's not good enough, right? Yeah, because I'd go down to 3, and these are 3 power attackers. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, wow. That was unfortunate, but my opponent turboed out an Ardent Plea, and that won the game. Not much I could have done about that, I think. Let's go ahead and fish for a better hand this time, maybe. Okay. I would like to be on the play. I would like to keep this hand, actually. This is a pretty good hand. So Stirrings is not a turn 1 play here. It's a choice of Thoughtseize or Shredder. I think I'm going to save the Thoughtseize for a later turn. This Shredder's likely to resolve. It's a shame I haven't seen Pixis very much. Oh, there's Pixis. I will fire off Stirrings now. Oh, Urza Saga. That's such a good card. I could take Urza Saga, play it here, try to resolve Bridge on turn 4. Do I think that's good enough? Do I play the Urza Saga or do I play the Overgrown Tomb? Do I discard now or do I discard later? I really want to get Urza Saga going. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I am going to need a Lantern at some point, right? Preferably some point soon. Okay. If they don't need another land, that means that their hand has stuff in it. Yo, it's a Shocked-in Sporific Springs. That's pretty scary, actually. Tells me that maybe they have... Is this a Boseiju on my Urza Saga? Well, they're definitely doing something. That's an Extirpate. That's really good. I think that Extirpate has convinced me that I want to Thoughtseize for sure. Because if they have a Living End in hand, then that's just game. Really interesting. Endurance is kind of worthless. They have 2 of these, so that's not really going to be where it's at. I could take Foundation Breaker and then Extirpate it. I don't know how good that is. I wish that they had a Living End in hand. I would love to take Living End. I would still need to find a discard spell for the Sink into Stupor. I kind of want to take the Foundation Breaker and then Extirpate it. I don't know if that's a correct line, though. Like, that just might be a bad line. I think I'm going to take the Foundation Breaker. I really want this Urza Saga to stick around. And I'm going to set a stop in their draw step. Yeah, Foundation Breaker is gone. And let's go ahead and put a Pithing Needle on the stack. See if my opponent wants to cycle a Street Wraith in response. They want to do Waker of Waves. They did not cycle Street Wraith. 4/4, 7/7. They already have enough to kill me in 2 swings. 7/7. That's 7, 11. Street Wraith would be 14. And if they play Shardless Agent, then that's actually 16. I think I have to name the Street Wraith. Here. Okay. Do I Extirpate on their draw step? Foundation Breaker. Goodbye. Alright, they have 2 unknowns in hand. They drew a Generous Ent and a Misty Rainforest. Alright, Foundation Breaker can go. They have 1 Boseiju. Colossal Sky Turtle causes trouble. Force of Vigor causes trouble. How many Cyclers do they have in hand right now? They have 1 Land Cycler. So they can use their Misty Rainforest to fetch a basic land. They can now play their Shardless Agent, and they're going to Cascade into a Living End, revealing a whole bunch of stuff. I will actually look at what they revealed. Boseiju and Otawara were in there, so that means that... Oh, wow. That's actually kind of terrible. I think they got it. Dang, that's kind of terrible. Because I put Pithing Needle on Street Race specifically to stop them from having lethal in play. I don't think I can win this. I think I'm short just a single resource. Yeah, I'm short just a single resource here. So Endurance is gone. Shardless Agent is gone. And what did they pitch to Endurance? A Generosent? I don't know if I have enough resources to win. 4, 6, 9, 16, yeah. Because I would need to draw another card here is what I would need. I would need to find... So here's what I could find. I could play Ensnaring Bridge right now. They bounce it with Sink into Stupor, and then I die. I could play Collective Brutality right now, kill the Shardless Agent, take a hit down to 2, and then somehow draw a lot of stuff. I don't think I have a way of winning this. Well, it starts with tapping this for mana. If I grab a Mishra's Bauble, then I could draw an additional card. Oh, this is so difficult. There's another way. If I Brutality on the modes of discarding a card, I grab a Lantern here, and then I have another Ensnaring Bridge in the top 5 cards of my deck after this shuffle. That would do it. I think that's the line. I think I have to grab Lantern, and then I have to discard an Ensnaring Bridge to stay alive. Wow, that's kind of terrible. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Do I actually want the Shardless Agent in the graveyard? I don't think so. Oh, I need to do it like this. Wow, this feels really bad. This feels terrible. Let me be on the record saying that this feels absolutely miserable. All right, Generosent, you got it. Oh, wait, I don't have the third land. Not only would I had to do that, but I also would have had to turn this Mishra's Bauble into Lantern. This Lantern should have been a Mishra's Bauble. It's just game. That's just game. All right. I'm going to make them play it out. And I would have had to draw this land, and then there would have had to been an Ensnaring Bridge immediately underneath the land. Yeah. All right. All right. Well played, opponent. That was well played. That was really well played. Them doing the Endurance trick to get that little additional power in play won them that game, I think. Because I would have just done something differently, I guess. But yeah, this should have been a 4-1. I messed up the Tameshi Bloom matchup because I did not respect their backup plan enough, and I did not respect Harbinger of the Seas enough. If I had, I would have won that match, probably. That's kind of just what happens when you get too busy having too much fun, YOLOing things, and not actually trying to win games, I suppose. It happens. It shouldn't happen as often as it does. Although I guess me YOLOing once is fine. Still, lots of really tight play in this league. And if you are not comfortable with doing tight play and thinking through lines and imagining every possible scenario that your opponent could do, and then choosing the best lines for your opponent as well, Lantern's not the deck for you. You cannot just jam this deck. I had to think super duper hard to even get a 3-2, honestly. Wow. But if you enjoy this style of gameplay, stick around, consider subscribing, consider taking a look at my backlog. I do have a bit of a backlog at this point. The audio quality is not nearly as nice as this, unfortunately. You might also be considering joining the Lantern Discord. I have a link to that in the description of this stream. Also have a link to my Mox Field, which is where all of my decks are kept. You'll find the version that I played here. You'll find the version that I recommend you play, which is the most recent stable version. And if you want to see some more Lantern content that's a bit out there, I also have a link to my friend Entuo's channel. He's got a few videos in there that are significantly spicier than the grinding that I'm trying to do. Thank you very much for watching. I will head out and carry on with the rest of my day, and hope to see y'all for the next stream.